project team, we said to each other, we need to go out with a bang. We need to find that star for the closing speech. And I think we called them a big shot or something. And it didn't actually take us that long to find the star, because she's an internationally recognized tourism keynote speaker. She's a trainer, and she has inspired like thousands and thousands of people in the tourism industry over the years to build a stronger and more sustainable, more resilient future of travel. And she also advocates for slow travel, I heard, because she is doing a lot of travels together with her husband and her beloved dog in their camper van. So please meet our star speaker, Dolores Semeraro.
Thank you for staying and for being here today and the last couple of days, for playing all out, sharing your best energies and your ideas, because these events can only work if you do the work, if you connect, if you engage, if you give it all, because otherwise it's just another gathering, right? So thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Today we are going to talk about how to shift from more to better tourism. In other words, we are going to explore the potentials of experiential travel. Giving experiences, providing authentic experiences is something that we are very familiar with nowadays, right? Everybody is looking for the next best idea to create experiences for the destination visitors, or for the hotel guests, or for the clients of your agencies. But what is exactly experiential travel? And who is it responsible for it? Who looks for it and who gives it? The shift that we're going to observe is going to take us from analyzing the more, what is more, and the better. And better for who? For us as tour operators, as tourism and travel business owners, or better for travelers, for visitors. So we're going to really observe the two sides of the coin. I personally put on the shoes of traveler 20 years ago when I moved to China after graduating in Chinese language. I went on a research trip to learn about probably the smallest feet in the world, called Satsongjilien, the lotus feet. In the ancient Chinese times, women were asked and were practicing foot binding to keep their feet smaller and be appealing to society and to their future husbands. So they were wearing some kind of shoes to fit and to find a place in society. Today, we wear travelers' shoes, we wear explorers' shoes, we wear ski, for example, it's also in the area. So if you want to have a copy of the presentation today, please scan this code and you'll have it in your inbox in no time. If you don't have enough time to scan it now, you can find also the QR code at the end of today's keynote. So yes, 20 years ago I wore my first explorer shoes. So let's put ourselves into travelers' shoes. We've been talking about product development, we've been talking about us. It's this we, me culture. It's us. We are at the center of the business. We are at the center of the destination. What if, for a moment, we step out of that centerpiece of where we put ourselves, and we put ourselves in travelers' shoes, understand them a little bit better. Whether they are hiking shoes, running shoes, even flip-flop. Whatever shoes they wear, it tells a story of where they want to go and what they expect to do. So we put ourselves in travelers' shoes, and we observe that before even becoming travelers, what we are talking about are people. People, citizens of their countries, members of their community, or even members of their own families. This is even way before they start thinking of traveling. These people are at home, in the comfort zone of their cities and their communities, and they work for, the future and to sustain their families and their children. So let's observe what is the value system of them when they are still at home And then eventually, when someone one day decides to travel, whether it's for a holiday or to visit someone, for a work trip, when you decide to travel, you become a traveler. When you become a traveler, you need to move from place A to place B, so someone needs to move you, so you become someone's passenger. The airline, train, bus, a car rental company, you name it. Once you have arrived to the destination that you've chosen to begin with, then you have fulfilled the whole journey. You are a tourist, you are an explorer. Some people don't like to be called tourists, right? It seems a bit shallow. But in the end, tourist comes from the word to tour, to go places, not just one. An explorer, they're going to explore territories that they have never been before. So you see, people, from when they are citizens to when they become explorers and tourists or visitors of our destinations, they have a value system that they carry with them. What is the value system? What do they value in life? People might say, I value honesty, generosity, and all. Everybody has different values depending on what's your cultural background. So in general, the most basic values of citizens, members of community, people, is about safety. They value stability, they value employment, they need jobs to sustain their families, of course. These are basic values that people live by in everyday life. And because they have them in their everyday life, when they become travelers, they carry with them this set of values. And that makes them notice and makes them take account and notice more things that are relevant to their values. So they will be looking at reliability of the system, of the operators that is selling them the holiday, the accuracy of information, so the information are accurate. I'm not buying a tour and then I arrive and then it's something else. As well as authenticity and timing, things are on time, but you don't have a problem with that in the north of Europe, of course. I really commend you for having a great system. And hygiene, safety of the destinations. So you see how people, they have a set of values at home. They carry these values with them when they become travelers. And they look for certain things that are aligned with their original values. On another note, when these values are present in our daily life as travelers, as people, today we're looking and we're observing how people are adopting better habits, perhaps more responsible habits, perhaps more eco-conscious habits. And these habits, for example, recycling, taking care of their bodies, of their health, so practicing certain sports, and also looking after their diet. A lot of people are choosing to eat or not to eat meat or fish, or they have diet choices that influence their health. These habits are then reflected into what they do and what they look for when they travel. So these kind of travelers that value good health, good food, healthy choices, they will look for sustainable options when they travel. They will look for carbon responsible, they will want to make carbon responsible choices. And they will look for a safety area and safe outdoors activities. So you see how the choices that they make when they travel truly are not just something that we need to observe when they are done with it, but we should observe them at the origin, that we should observe them in the value system of people at home, because these are the people we're talking to, and these are the people we want to have in our destinations. So, from citizens to explorers, to tourists, to visitors of our locations, the question we should be asking is, what matters? What matters today? What matters to us? What matters to the people we're talking to? What matters around the world? And in times like this, answers may be different. Someone would matter. Safety, the country's safety, political stability, the environment, the future of my children, my job in the future. So what matters really? This should be the key question that we should always ask ourselves when we're strategizing about the product that we're going to develop in the future. Because what matters today will define the value system and the habits of who's going to travel tomorrow. And this is what we need to foresee. We need to arrive there one time, like literally one day before the visitors, and say, welcome, instead of observing them that they're already here and asking ourselves, what do we do with it? Right? We need to be ahead of them. Today, a lot of things matters to travelers. But if anything, these are the four pillars, I wish they were pillars, the four pillars that matters the most. And we can find them all around the world, whether you're running a destination in the north of the world, in the south of the world, on tropics, tropical islands, anywhere. Travelers today care about the environment, and they want to have the minimum negative impact on the environment. They are aware of it. They are absolutely aware of it. They might not come and tell you when they make the booking, but they will observe what you do when they are on holidays with you. They also observe that today's environment, because everyone wants to give these authentic experiences, the local people are more involved, right? So it's not just about the receptionist that hands over the keys of the perfect check-in. It's also about the local person that you meet at the dinner, around the bonfire or so. So travelers have developed a more respectful approach. They want to, they care about it. They are not going, long are the days, thankfully, of those tourists coming, taking the photos of a local display and then leaving. Now travelers want to speak to the locals, want to spend time with them, want to sit around the fire with them. So they value a more respectful approach. Also something that is perhaps a little bit more invisible but very much present in everybody's life. Travelers today value inclusivity and a fair system, because they will observe whether in this location, in this beautiful destinations, the workers are or are not from here. They will observe where is the person cleaning their room from, where is the tour guide that is taking them on a tour from. They will observe that, and they will not come and tell you, but they will feel strongly about it and make their decision for their next trip. There's different socioeconomic dynamics nowadays around the world, so we have workforce that comes from certain countries that is more appealing for the job market, and other workforce that is more skilled coming from other countries. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we offer that inclusive and fair system of work in the tourism industry. Last but not least, travelers today value incredible, real storytelling. Why? We talk about storytelling these days, right? Why real? Storytelling is real. I'm telling the story of my destination. But real is the only thing, as the most used word, authentic, that connects to people. If people can relate to something that has been said in the stories that they're reading about their destination, when they relate, they care, because they understand it. If I don't relate, I don't understand it, it's like, okay. But then I don't get involved. So if you relate, you care. And if you care, you take action. So what is the action that everybody wants to have? Visitors coming to the destination, bookings, inquiries. These are the kind of actions we want. So when you look at the development of your storytelling, real storytelling is what really matters to today's traveler. So what do we do as tourism and travel operators? We help them reduce their negative impact on the environment. We enable them to have a respectful approach with the local communities. We create for them that inclusive and fair working system, as well as at the end, research and develop our real storytelling. If we are not here to facilitate their experience, what are we here for? For the money? For the revenue, yes, we're all working. This is a job, of course. But at the same time, we're not working with construction, we're working with people. We are the industry of people for people. So it's pretty much our only job is to help them achieve what they want to do. Otherwise, they will not use the tourism and travel system to create their perfect holiday experience. They will go about it. You will become a byproduct. They will do their thing. They will create their own experience. Let me show you how this is very much possible. An example that I want to bring here, I took this picture myself last year, is the case study of Albania. Now, if you know, Albania is a small country in the Balkans, in the southern Adriatic seaside. Albania was coming out of a very difficult political situation. They had a lot of challenges. They overcome all their challenges, and they decided that nobody was going to write their narrative. They would be the maker of their own narrative, of what people would say about Albania. Up to 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, Albania was only known as a place of, oh no, it's very much, it's not safe to go there. Albanian government decided to rewrite that story with what? With tourism. And instead of having the narrative of more, they choose to develop a narrative of better. How so? Yes, Albania in 2023 had 56% more visitors than the year before, up to 10 million. It's a big number for such a small country. And very, very simple infrastructure. They decided they will not just be an attraction for the Balkans, they will become the green battery of the Balkans. Who else is in the Balkans? Montenegro, Croatia, Albania, northern Greece, Macedonia. So there's quite a few countries there. Albania is set to become their green batteries with renewable energies. And of course you need connectivity, and although it only covers 1% of European flights, Albania developed 141% in the increase of daily flights since 2019. So lots of flights, lots of choices for all kinds of visitors. With these numbers, one would say, oh wow, that's a successful destination. But Albania said, no, it's not the numbers that are going to dictate our reputation and the perception of the destination. We want to be perceived, and we want to be known, not just by numbers. Because today you have 10 million, tomorrow maybe you have 5 if you're lucky. Because people move. They move where the trend goes, right? So Albania decided to develop a different narrative based on their natural assets, and they worked hard and achieved the status of first wild river national park in Europe, the Vjosa River, which is the river in this picture. And they managed it, as well as then creating all the sustainability projects needed to develop the infrastructures that they will need, not just today, but in the future. And one thing I was amazed by, I spent about a month slow traveling in Albania, is the hospitality and the level of quality that each single stakeholder would put out. Because imagine if your destination, think about it as a hotel. You have the marketing guys working hard for the brand, working hard for the promotion, working hard for the visibility. And then you attract the people, your guests come to the hotel like a destination, right? You get someone at the reception that on that day had a bad day and comes out and being rude and not pleasant and not kind to the guest that has just arrived to your hotel. In 1 minute, the experience is lost and damaged. Imagine your destination as a hotel. You work so hard to position the destination, and then the people who are supposed to welcome the visitors don't get trained, get left behind, they don't grow with you, and they don't know how to welcome the visitors you want to attract. So they will ruin your efforts, your work towards attracting more people to the destination. So it's always important. Albania did it very well. They did a lot of training. They brought in all the hotel owners, small and medium enterprises, and trained them all. So we shift from more to better, right? And in this shift, I want us to understand what is more. More is a narrative that we all join by default. Is the narrative of thinking and describing our destination by number of arrivals, by connectivity, by the hotel occupancies that we have, by the RevPAR, for example, high occupancy, lots of flights, lots of arrivals, the destination appeal, what are your competitors doing, right? And these are the headlines that you see online every time someone is describing a destination. And when you see this number, oh, we need to achieve the pre-pandemic level. We need to achieve, we have this and this million people. This is the narrative of more. And as long as you express and feed the narrative of more with just displaying the numbers of your destination to look successful, to look appealing, you will only attract more of that. So instead of attracting more of this, let's look into how we can instead become beacon and attract more, instead of more, better tourism. We change the narrative from the narrative of more to the narrative of better. And one last thing I wanted to highlight, because we spoke about it over the last 2 days briefly, is about social media-led narrative. When you let social media take control of the narrative of your destination, you may have situations like the headlines you see here, where social media followers of specific people have in fact damaged, in many cases, the destinations that we're visiting. Because people like the most Instagrammable place in Sweden, most Instagrammable corner of Lapland in Finland. These are headlines that feed the social media-led narrative. Uncontrolled and unmanaged social media narrative may lead to serious damage to your destinations. Because, like the case of the Wyoming, the Jackson Hole National Park, the National Park Bureau asked tourists and visitors not to geotag their pictures. They say so at the entrance of the national park. Said, please enjoy the nature and the wilderness, and share pictures, but do not geotag it. And people are like, why? Because millions of other people will look for that specific creek and that specific bridge to take that specific picture. This is the world we're living in today. So the national park management actually said, these places are not designed for this capacity. It will be a disaster to have so many people doing the same photo on the same bridge over and over again. So what they did a special sustainability management plan in which they involved also the visitor side, asking them to sign a pledge that they will not geotag the destination, the park locations. So they actually put the responsibility in their hands. They enable them, they empower them with a choice. They didn't let this happen and then deal with the consequences. They took a proactive approach, which is really nice. Better tourism has, as I said, two different sides of the coins, right? Better tourism for travelers means something, and better tourism for tourism operator means something else. You may think it may be the same, but it's not. Let's observe the difference. For tourists, for travelers, better tourism means that they are traveling where there are no crowds, right? Imagine going to San Marco Square in Venice. Millions of people there at once. So you try to take a picture in front of the Mona Lisa. You have to go through a wall of people before you can do that. So no crowds, fair prices when things are not too expensive, a different range of activities, of course, so that you can do many things. This is better tourism for travelers, right? Also good connectivity, transportations, safety, hygiene when things are clean, as well as authentic experiences. But we will talk about that later. You look at this and like, yeah, this is better tourism for travelers. But let's look at what better tourism could mean for for the operators, for those who work in the business. For them, it means that the stays are longer. Oh, better tourism, I got longer stays. Therefore, my hotels are fuller for longer time. It means no seasonality. It means year-round presence of visitors. It means that those who come to your destination spend money, so higher expenditure, as well as a collaboration with the neighboring destinations and businesses, and a minimal, if not zero impact on the natural assets, especially in regions like here in Lapland, where you have your main assets are natural, in fact. So you see the difference, what better tourism means for travelers and what better tourism means for operators. Iceland is a case of better tourism. They came from more to better. They redesigned their narrative. Over just up to a few years ago, Iceland became one of the most one of the trendiest destinations for digital nomads to move to Iceland and live there. They enable people to come. So it became a beacon of all these different people from the world traveling. And then lots of visitors and a lot of damages. And the local tourism boards were noticing that the damage that the visitors were leaving behind was becoming quite aggressive. So what did they do? As of January 2024, very, very new, Iceland reinstated a tourism tax per night per stay. Not per person, per night per stay. Bringing the tourism tax up to $5 per night per stay, in addition to the other resident taxes. So this was not quite welcomed by everyone in the community. However, they said, no, we have a plan. This money is going to be reused in social and sustainable projects for the country, as well as helping us reach our goal to become carbon neutral by 2040. So I see Iceland as a destination that is rewriting their narrative from more to better. In 2023, the most researched, the most searched online word was authentic, according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, of course. Doesn't come as a surprise, right? I can probably put on a list how many times we said authentic over the last 2 days. Right? So it's the most searched word is authentic, and the most Googled word, guess what it is? It's YouTube. It's YouTube. That means that people are searching for videos. So when you're looking at the way you want to promote your destination, think about the format that you're going to produce. Are you going to do a photo shoot or are you going to do a video shoot? But there's two things side by side. That's why we jump into a second layer of better tourism. And this is where I want all of us to really take a moment and reflect on what is it that we are offering to the visitors of our destinations. Experiential tourism is the travel revolution, not evolution. Because experiential tourism, experiential travel, it's not for you to give. It's for travelers to seek. It's for travelers to look for. It's for travelers to create. They create their own experiences. You are there along the way, if you want, to witness it and to be a byproduct, or take a proactive approach and be there ready to be what they want to be, what they want you to offer, what they want you to give them. And we will observe how not to be a byproduct of experiential travel, but to be instead a proactive player, a winning player. When it comes to experiences, this is the big word that everybody mentions always in travel, right? And so experiential travel. Experiences are often based on what you offer at your destination. And these are the big pillars. So people look for experiences in wellness, they're seeking relaxation, or a solo trip, right? And along these categories, they design the experiences that are right for them. Today, experiential travel has taken a whole different meaning, and people are instead traveling for all sorts of reasons. And they look into this different meaning and purpose of travel to design their next holiday, to make the best use of their free time, whether it's free from work or free from family, but they really work towards a specific purpose, really purpose-led. So let's look at some of them. For example, people nowadays travel to look for the ancestors. They go back in time where the family tree would bring them, and they go on a trip. They have a purpose to find the origin of their family. Or, for example, they travel to learn, go to Japan and learn how to do pottery, or learn a language, for example. They go through not just sports, but also something challenging for them. They challenge themselves for a trip to overcome their fears. So you see, purpose-led travel is so creative, is so diverse. It has it encompasses all kinds of meanings. And if we observe that these are the experiences that they are looking for, then you think of who you are as business owners and where you can fit in any of this. And these are just some examples, but there is more, of course. And see how you can be an active player in experiential travel instead of being just used by travelers when they travel for their purpose. Like, for example, if I'm into food, and I am, and I love a good foodie trip, and I get my girls, my best friends to travel with me, and we go for a foodie trip. So we're just gonna come here to eat our way around because we know we love the food, we've done our research, and guess what? We need to stay somewhere. We need a hotel. So we book a hotel. Now, is the hotel providing an experience? No. The hotel is a byproduct. It's there to be used. The experience is designed by the travelers. So when you develop your narrative and you know you can offer something that matches the purpose-led intentions of today's travelers, then you start playing an active role. If I love, for example, cheese, I'm a cheese lover, and I go in a location, let's say I want to go to Switzerland and go on a foodie trip and eat my cheese everywhere. I go from town to town trying all the different cheese. But by going town to town, I stay in hotels, I go to restaurants, I have dinners and lunches. Do you think that the dinners, the restaurants where I go and the hotel where I stay, they know that I'm a foodie? They don't know. I didn't tell them. I'm just using them because I need them along the way. So don't be used along the way. Be an active player in the product, in the way you build your narrative, in what you're offering. Experiential travel means definitely a set of things for a traveler and a different set of things for operators. And again, I want to show you the two sides of the coin to give you perspective. Experiential travel for travelers is personal, is meaningful, is challenging, and immersive. It is a learning experience. These are the parameters that we can see when travelers are setting out for their experience, whether they're going to the jungle or to a tropical island. But for travel and tourism operator, experiential travel, it's not necessarily so appealing. In fact, in many cases, to offer to be there for them in experiential travel for operators is quite demanding. Right? It needs a lot of work. You need to engage with so many stakeholders, so many parts of the supply chain. It's a lot of work. It's very demanding. It's also very expensive because you need to create a lot of different things and small details. You really have to be detail oriented. Bureaucratic at times because you do need to get involved with some institutions and have permits. Can I go there? Can I take my guests there? The guests will go there with or without you, but if they go with you, it's better, right? So you are leading the way instead of just sitting at home with your business. It's also uncertain because a lot of business owners, they don't have a lot of resources to really do this research, to really look at business this way. And they may say, well, this is how I do my business, and this is how it's been done for 30, 40, 50 years, and I'm not going to change it now because it works. So uncertainty plays a big role. And it's definitely not a must for many operators to offer experiential travel. They just offer a travel product. So you see the different type of perception. But one of my favorite quotes from Einstein says, you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that you had when you created the same problem. So you can't solve a challenge with the same mindset you have when you created the challenge. At some point, that mindset shift needs to happen for you to see things differently and move from more to better. So we zoom out. We don't talk about us anymore. We don't talk about travelers anymore. Who do we talk about? We zoom a little bit out in the system, in the tourism ecosystem. Who gets involved? The local community, the town, the people living here, and the economy. So the experiential travel for the community means opportunity. People get involved. They can get better jobs. They can get creative. Local artisans can have a little shop and sell their things. Local tour guides or experts of the area get a job into becoming tour guides or hosts of any sorts. It's a source of income for the community. Imagine the city of Levi that gets completely overwhelmed over a very specific time of the year, and then it's a ghost town for the other half. It's a source of income that covers the whole year, right? The local community learns and grows, as well as take pride. And you know how important it is to take pride in your destination, in your community? You know what it makes? It makes people, when people are proud, they don't leave. They don't go elsewhere seeking opportunities. The young generations don't leave these areas, which is already the least populated areas in Europe are here. The younger generation does not need to leave if they take pride in who they are. And developing experiential travel gets the community to take that pride because they are under the spotlight every day. They are the true star of the show, not the travelers. And of course, better economy, better welfare for everyone. So this is good for the community. For the economy instead, obviously we look at the circular economy. The money generated by tourism gets reinstated, gets reused in the local economy. And this is a commitment the local authorities should always have to make sure that tourism money doesn't get spent here and then taken away because international companies are here to run their business and this money doesn't stay here. It goes to pay the management fees of big corporations. We want money to stay in the local economy. And with that, we create not just more business for the destination, but better visitors, repeaters. Thailand has just declared that they have reached 60% of repeater travelers. 60%. They don't even need to promote their destination anymore because people keep coming back to Thailand over and over again. So destination repeaters. Does Lapland have destination repeaters? We want to look into that. We want to develop that. Ambassadors of the destination. This comes with a big commitment. I call it a sustainability commitment. The community may have benefits from experiential travel, but they have to commit to engage authentically with travelers and tourists. They have to be they have to be the stewards of their natural assets. They have to safeguard tangible and intangible cultural heritage. Yesterday, the Sami singer was showing us that his singing quality, is it tangible or intangible? Can you touch it? Can you eat it? Can you feel it? It's not tangible, it's intangible. The language, the Sami language, this needs to be protected, right? So this is what I mean by tangible and intangible. We need to also elevate the standards of service as community. We need to get involved into improve our levels of hospitality and use the money that is generated by the wealth of tourism into projects that regenerate the economy here. Not just the community has a sustainability commitment to make, but also those in charge of the economy. Why? If we want to have a year-round tourism, we need to have the infrastructure. How can we welcome guests year-round if we don't have the buildings, if we don't have the houses, if we don't have the hotels, if we don't have the roads, if we don't have the facilities? So there's a commitment there from both sides to make these things happen. The most important, I think, what for me is crucial, and has come out a lot in this product development workshop that you've run. It's not about increasing your supply chain. The more you need to create the best product, the more collaborations you need to do, more suppliers you need to reach. But it's your responsibility to vet these suppliers and make sure that the suppliers you're working with are aligned with your values, with your core values. So you can be as sustainable as you like, but then you use a supplier that is not. And it's probably spraying pesticides on his fruits and vegetables that he's delivering to you or something. And you see, vetting your supply chain is just as important as you grow than just your own. Yukon, just the last example, is there's very similarities between Yukon and Canada and Lapland, because Yukon is also the least populated territory of Canada. And instead of having to be considered the least populated, nobody goes there, very remote, and the westernmost remote territory, they decided to create a toolkit for their operators to develop a better shoulder season, to lengthen it, to expand it. Because operators will say, yeah, of course we want to have tourism year-round. How do we do that? Give us a toolkit. So the Tourism Destination Board developed the toolkit and spread it to everyone, and everybody knew what to do. Also, they understand that the natural assets are their main attraction, and they said, is that the only thing we can do here? No, it's not. So they developed a culinary identity to attract people, because in these regions you have the natives, the First Nation people, that also have a very strong culinary traditions and heritage. So they incorporated them into their narrative. So as you see, creativity, sustainability go side by side. Entrepreneurship. Lastly, as we spoke about lengthy these days, there's a lot of everything out there. People are talking in every possible way of how to go to the destination, how to reach the destination, what to do in the destination, who you need to be as a destination. So there's a lot of noise, right? How you cut through the noise? It's not by changing your narrative. You are the leading core person, entity of your narrative. Change your language. Today's people are different from 20 years ago, from even 10 years ago. Look at your kids. We are technology adopters. We adopted technology. We're the generation that knew what it was to be before without a phone, without a smartphone. Our kids will not do that. They are technology native, right? So change that language and change it. When you change it, you adopt, adapt, and excel at it. Not your narrative, but your language. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. You can have another chance at scanning the code if you want to have this presentation in your email inbox. And